If you love Aaron Terence Hughes fragrances, you're in the right place. I have 5 beast mode fragrances coming from the house of Aaron Terence Hughes. If you're interested to find out about these fragrances, ladies and gentlemen, by now you know what to do. Just stay tuned. What is good, YouTube? Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mikey Cologne and thank you very much for tuning in today. That is right, I've got 5 fragrances to go over from the house of Aaron Terence Hughes. But before I do get going, if you do enjoy my content, hit that subscribe button. It is completely free, and always press the bell because it will notify you when I drop a review at a later date. I have a code for you, like if you're interested in the house of Unique Luxury. It is a niche fragrance house. Go over to their website. Once you've put whatever you want in the cart, where it says promo code, coupon code, discount code, put in Mikey-Kute23 and that will give you 15% off your order. I don't earn no money, no commission. They don't pay me to do this. The code is there for you lot to save yourself some money. I will leave the link down below. Plus, I will leave the link of Aaron's website down below as well. He restocks at the minute every Friday and he sells out quick. So you have to be on the ball if you want something from his website. But first off, I'm going to start with a fragrance that was, I think it was instant love for me. When I smelt this, I wouldn't say blown away, but I was like, man, this thing smells great. It is Oud Noir. All these that I'm going to talk about today are extract to parfum, and I have 10 mils, or I have 10 ml bottles. You've got cinnamon, saffron, plum, amaretto, 5% oud, benzoin and vanilla. This is not an overly complex fragrance, but that doesn't mean nothing. Just the way it comes across. Straight off the bat, it's warm, it's spicy, it's sweet. You get that juicy plum, plus you get this leathery aroma, which I think is coming from the saffron blending in with the oud. And the oud here is not funky or animalic. It brings this richness to the fragrance. It adds depth. It sort of adds this warm structure, this warm backbone to the overall fragrance. Now, as this starts to settle in, you do get this, I would say, light, boozy, almondy quality that does come in. But on my skin, the plum overshadows and the oud overshadows that amaretto. I can tell that it's there, it is present, but it's not screaming in your face. Like, I wouldn't call Oud Noir a full-on boozy fragrance. No, it isn't. To me and to my nose, the main notes in Oud Noir is that saffron, is that oud, and is that plum. Now, when that boozy quality does come through, this is when the fragrance really does darken up. It goes a little bit resinous, balsamic. The sweetness sort of calms down a little bit, but this fragrance always has a nice dose of sweetness to it. And in the base, it's all about that oud. I get slight touches of smoke, and I mean very, very faintly a smoky whiff. And I tell you what I do get in this fragrance, but it isn't listed. Every now and again, I will get a little smell of a rose, like a rose oud combo in this fragrance. This is not a rose oud combo. But every now and again when I've worn this, I've got whiffs of rose. Not listed in the note breakdown. I don't know if it's in there. Maybe it's my nose playing tricks on me. But this is a fantastic fragrance. It really is. All these fragrances, I'm going to talk about today, a couple of them do have a sexy edge. And this does have a sexy edge, a dark, sexy edge, a nice bit of sweetness, very smooth. Longevity, 9+ hours. On clothes, it does last for days. To me, this definitely leans more on the masculine side because of that leathery quality that this fragrance has. And the oud here, even though it's not animalic or barnyardy, it is quite dark. But anyway, that is Oud Noir. Great scent. If you haven't tried it and you do like plum and oud with a little bit of leather, this would be your jam. Up next is a fun, playful, fruity fragrance. It is Hard Candy Elixir. This is fantastic. Hard Candy and Hard Candy Elixir, they're both stunning fragrances, but I went with this one because it does last a little bit longer on me and it's a bit more beefier. You've got loads of notes, so hold on to your chairs. You've got lemon, mandarin, sweet orange, lavender, mint, vanilla, tonka, nutmeg, strawberry, honey, amber, sandalwood, patchouli, MDMA. There is no drugs in this fragrance, white musk and 5% Thai oud. Now, straight off the bat, the sweet orange hits my nose first with loads of sweetness. But this does have a fresh side up top. You've got the lavender, you've got the mint, which brings in this, I would say, light aromatic quality into the fragrance. The lavender is so smooth. Like, it doesn't jump out too much. It's blended in very well. Now, after a couple of minutes, the vanilla, the tonka, they're sort of making their way from the back to the front. But whilst this is going on, you've got the strawberry coming through with this thick, gooey honey, which just pushes more sweetness into the fragrance. Now, this is when the fragrance starts to darken up, because at this time, that Thai oud starts to become present. Like, it really does warm the base of this fragrance up. It pushes in a little bit of woods. It amps up the sweetness. The musk that you've got in Hard Candy Elixir, it sort of beefs that musk up a little bit round the edges. Dries down, the sandalwood is turning everything creamy. The aromatic side fizzles out. Fragrance warms up. Woods turn up a little bit. The tonka bean turns up and everything just sits fruity, creamy, sweet, dense, thick. This is a fun, playful fragrance. This is for if you're going to clubs, bars, parties, anywhere, to gatherings, anywhere where you're going to have a little bit of fun, anywhere where you want to have a good time. Hard Candy and the Elixir will do you justice in them occasions. It's unisex, it's long lasting, it pushes for hours, it lingers on clothes for days. So you haven't got to worry about the longevity of Hard Candy Elixir. And you've got that. There's a couple of extra notes in the Elixir than what there is in the OG, so to speak. You've got that amber in this as well. And that does help out because you get little, I would say, balsamic touches what are blending in with that Thai oud. But then you've got the patchouli and the sandalwood. So everything sits dark, sweet and thick. But yeah, it's a great fragrance, long lasting. It's beast mode. Up next, we have a Rose Oud Combo. And when I first got this fragrance in, by the name, I thought to myself, this is going to be a little bit of a lighter Rose Oud Combo. How wrong I was. This is Luna. Now, this thing has an animalic twang to it. It really does, up top. You've got Rose Absolute, Tahitian Vanilla, Incense Musk, Leather Patchouli, Ethical Ambergris and Dark Thai Oud. Now, straight off the bat, you get the rose, you get the oud. The rose comes across as sweet and jammy, but because of that oud, it makes, you get this smoky, kind of earthy quality up top. And it makes that rose come across a little bit dirty. And that is due to the animatic side of the oud. Now, I wouldn't say this is barnyardy or fecal. It doesn't smell of shit or anything like that. It's just got this dirty little animatic twang to it. And once this settles in, the animatic side of the oud does slowly fade out. But as this does dry down, you get leathery qualities, you get the incense. So the incense here is helping out with the oud on the smoky side of things. But that incense just floats all the way through the fragrance. Like, to my nose and on my skin, the incense doesn't really scream out too much. But it's just enough there that you know that it is in the fragrance, if that makes sense. On my skin anyway. You've got the vanilla, so you do get vanillic touches, plus the vanilla pushes in a little bit of added extra sweetness. You've got the patchouli. The patchouli here is dry and woodsy. This definitely has musky edges. And as it settles in, or as it does dry down, the oud and the leather on my skin become the focal points of this fragrance, with the incense sitting in the back and the rose is in the back. Like, the rose is there all the way through. Up top, it's in your face. But as it gets from mid to dry down, it slowly makes its way into the back, and then the oud and the leather, they become the focal points of the fragrance. It is a great scent. It is long lasting. If you don't enjoy animalic fragrances, I wouldn't say stay clear of this one, because it only lingers for about 4 to 5 minutes, and then that animalic side does fade out. Plus, it's not full on animalic, but it's just got a little animalic something to it. But anyway, that is Luna. This is unisex. When it comes to Rose Oud Combo fragrances, I always say, if you enjoy Rose Oud Combo fragrances, no matter what sex you are, you're going to enjoy Luna from Aaron Terence Hughes. It is a solid fragrance. It projects well for a good couple of hours. If you do 4 to 5 sprays with this on a cold day, it will push. But anyway, Beast Mode fragrance deserves to be on this list. Now we have a tobacco fragrance. And fellas, if you're watching this, tobacco fragrances, if they're done right, smell great. And this does. It is tobacco. Now, the notes are tobacco leaf, Madagascan vanilla absolute, tobacco, Turkish rose, Burmese oud, cedarwood, and ethical ambergris. Now, when you hear tobacco, vanilla, it might, or something might pop in your brain and think, Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford. This smells nothing like that fragrance. And to pull it into terms of quality, for one, this is better. For two, this is a lot more powerful. And for three, it just does everything different. The way this opens up, it opens up dry, spicy, woodsy, vanillic. The tobacco really does come across. The way it's blended in with that oud, on my skin anyway, I get green nuances from it. It comes across a little bit damp at times. It comes across a little bit ashy, a little bit smoky. And that's a tobacco leaf working in with the Burmese oud. So the Burmese oud is like the backbone of this fragrance. It adds a level of richness to the fragrance. I think it helps out on the woodsy, smoky side of things, but it just adds this real depth to the overall scent profile, and it is strong. Like, when this first opens up, there is a nice bit of sweetness to the fragrance. If I was to say how sweet is this, I would say it's semi-sweet. It's not overdone on the sweet side of things. It's got a strong presence of tobacco, of woods, of smoke, of that ashy quality. It's good. It is good. It really is good. And I tell you what as well, I get a little bit of a salty nuance with this fragrance. In the dry down, like, as it does settle in, that dryness that the fragrance has, that just fades away. And the fragrance kind of goes a little bit creamy. And I'll get a little bit of a salty nuance come through. And maybe that's the ethical ambergris, I do not know. But I'm definitely getting salty in this fragrance. But the dry down is all about tobacco and oud. That is what it's all about, with little light touches of vanilla just wisping through the fragrance. I love this stuff. It is strong, it is powerful. This is smart, this is clean, this is well dressed, this is suit and tie. Or you can wear it wherever you want. But if you're going out and you're looked apart and you're dressed to the nines and you're wearing tobacco, you're not only going to look good, but you're going to smell good as well. Anyway, this deserves to be on the list. That is tobacco. I done a full review of this fragrance the other day, so I'm not going to spend too long on it. But this had to go on the list, because when I was testing this fragrance out and I sprayed it on a jumper, I washed that jumper, dried the jumper, and I could still smell this fragrance on that jumper after it had been washed and dried. This is Raw Cherry Extreme. What a stunning fragrance this is. This ain't just all about the cherry. That is the focal point of this fragrance, but there's things going on around it, and I'll get into it. You've got black cherry bergamot, dark Mexican chocolate, Madagascar vanilla, tonka bean plum, ambret seed, Gaiac wood, sandalwood, patchouli, 5% Thai oud, benzoin, nutmeg, and ylang. Now, straight off the bat, you get this juicy cherry, but with this, you've got dark chocolate. Then the vanilla and tonka bean come in, and the tonka bean comes across a little bit almondy here, and it just pushes more sweetness into the fragrance because Raw Cherry Extreme is a sweet fragrance. Dries down a little bit more, then the ambret and the plum come in. So now you've got the plum mixing in with the cherry, you've got the vanilla and tonka mixing in with the dark chocolate, so now it's juicy, fruity, gourmandish. As it settles down a little bit more, the Thai oud just beefs everything up in this fragrance. Again, it helps out on the sweet side of things. It's a little bit musky. This is a strong, fruity, flirty, dirty fragrance. There is no doubt about it. If you're looking for something that's resinous, thick, oudy, fruity, sweet, and just it has layers to it. It goes through stages. Like I say, you get bits of the chocolate, the tonka bean, the vanilla, the plum, the patchouli. You get these notes that come through, but the cherry always stays in the middle and everything's happening around that accord. And he's done a great job with it. It's super long lasting. It projects strong for a good couple of hours. It's unisex, so gals and guys, you can both wear this fragrance. As well, it does have a little bit of soft spice to the fragrance. Definitely the nutmeg. I think the ylang here helps out in the base, like smooth everything out, because again, as this settles, it gains a little bit of a creamy quality to it, and maybe the ylang is helping out on that side of things. It's a stunning fragrance. It deserves to be on this list. Again, this is a playful fragrance. This is a flirty fragrance. This will be great for date nights, cooler weather, parties, clubbing. If you're around someone that you're attracted to, put a bit of this on and let's see if you get a compliment. I think you will, but you've got to have that attitude to go with it. You can't just spray on a fragrance and sit there all moody and think that you're going to get a compliment. No, you have to be talkative, kind, funny, and maybe a little bit flirty yourself. But anyway, Raw Cherry Extreme. Right, ladies and gentlemen, that is 5 beast mode fragrances from the house of Aaron Terence Hughes. I love all of these fragrances that I've spoke about. A majority of his fragrances I do love. I think there's 1 or 2 that I think, yeah, they're nice, but the rest of his fragrances in general, I love the way he creates his fragrances. I love Aaron's work. I love his fragrances. There is no doubt about it. I own quite a few of his fragrances. I believe he's got a few new ones coming out soon. I cannot wait to get my paws on his new fragrances. I will be doing first impressions on them. So keep your eyes peeled. Right, ladies and gentlemen, which ones do you own out of these 5? Which one is your favourite fragrance from the house of Aaron Terence Hughes? Do you like Hard Candy Elixir? Have you tried the new Raw Cherry Extreme? This is a beauty, it really is. I appreciate everybody's support, and remember, smelling good's always a pleasure and never a chore. And I'll see you lot on the next one. Cheers.